Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Friday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome. Let's try this again. I am not sure what happened, but the live got cut off. Jenny, how are you? Welcome. So we are about to have a hurricane here in Southern California. It's supposed to affect where I live as well. And we've got an email. I got an email today that said, "Hey, we're gonna try our best that you don't lose, internet and all kinds of stuff." So that's what's happening. I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but I don't know what happened. So it just got cut off. So anyway, we're back on. And so the hurricane is about to hit in a couple hours or something till the morning. I honestly, it's just all over the place, so I haven't looked. Nunu, how are you? So if the hurricane comes and takes me away, then, maybe I'll, my friends are making jokes about me doing a live in the hurricane. Anyway, let's get into the subject of fear. So I got to start all over again. This is the third time I'm going live tonight, and the first two times it didn't work out. So, yeah. Elham June, how are you? Welcome. Good to see you. So, yeah, these guys are making jokes about me doing a live in the hurricane. So, keep us in your prayers. Anyway, so this morning, we had a Zoom with our India team, and there's a guy in there that I love. This guy, I love the whole India team, but there's one guy in there that I just love. This guy, he's just got so much wisdom. He actually got a chance to work with Jim Rohn one-on-one. Those of you who know who Jim Rohn is, I mean, that's a big deal. So he worked with Jim Rohn one-on-one, but he was sharing his story today. And so he was sharing that he had to have open heart surgery. And while he was sharing this story, something hit me, right? Something hit me about fear, and I'm like, I now believe that there's two types of fear. Is the lighting okay? I think so. There's two types of fear. So the first one is the one most of us already know about, right? Is the one we face all the time. And I don't know if you've ever had a surgery, if you've ever been to a point where you need to have like emergency operation or any type of a thing, hospitalization, that you don't know what's going to happen. For most people, that is pretty fearful. It's not comfortable. For most people, that's pretty scary, especially if you haven't had a surgery before, or if you haven't had a health issue before and it hits, and then it could get really scary for some, and I can understand that, and I can appreciate that. I have had 7 surgeries, all serious, nothing small or tiny. And I can look you in the eye over the phone and and strongly say that I've never been fearful of a surgery. In fact, I encouraged the last doctor to do the last surgery. I encouraged her, just do it on my wrist. But I haven't been scared of a surgery. Now, if you are somebody who's been in that situation, you've been scared of a situation, you've been maybe held at gunpoint. That's a good one. Maybe you were held at gunpoint, or maybe you were robbed, or maybe you got jumped, or you got into a bad situation, and scary, fearful. Now, that type of a fear is the one we're used to. See, that type of fear, you don't really have an option. What are you going to do? Not have the surgery? Okay, maybe dumb, but I mean, that's a pretty dumb choice to choose. Most likely you're going to choose the surgery and you're going to have the fear, but you're going to go through it. Maybe you got held at gunpoint, and if you're here watching this, then everything went okay, and you took that fear and you went with it anyway, right? So there are some fears that no matter what, even you may be scared to death, like you could be shaking in your booties, right? But you're still going to go through it because you just have to, right? And then there's that other type of fear. Fear of public speaking. Fear of getting rejected by a prospect. Fear of not being enough. Fear of not having enough. Fear of failing. Fear of success. Some people are afraid of success. And these are fears that it's not like that open heart surgery. You're not going to die like that if you don't do it, right? If you don't prospect, you're not going to die. I love the movie. What's the movie? Oh my goodness. Hangover. It says, but did you die? Right? If you don't prospect, you're not going to die. If you don't go to the gym, you're not going to die. If you don't follow up, you're not going to die. Right? So that type of fear, it's a different type of fear, and it takes a whole different you to deal with it. Do you guys hear the coyotes? Coyotes and the rabbits? Do you hear? Last one, and then. Do you guys hear that? There's a delay with the responses. But yeah, so that is a whole different. You do hear or you don't hear? Oh no. Yeah, you do hear. Yeah, I know. It's every night. It's every night, every single night. It's just like that. It's just like that every single night. So that's a whole different type of fear. That's a fear that you can easily escape from. Right? You can easily choose not to deal with it. That type of a, yeah, that, I mean, you're close to coyotes too. That's the type of a fear that you can easily choose. Well, it's not one that you have to face or else. And I feel like that's like the silent fear, right? That's the one that kills, but kills a whole different type of things. It kills your dreams, kills your journey, kills you living your purpose, kills a whole other stuff. It may not kill you physically and remove you from earth, but it kills a whole other stuff. And I thought, man, that is so crazy, because we deal with the craziest fears all the time. that surgery, that robbery, that gunpoint, that whatever it may be, right? We deal with the like walking with your dog and seeing like three coyotes staring at you in your face like 4 feet away from you, which has happened to me and the little guy, right? That's freaking scary. You know what I mean? It's like, duh. What do you do, right? And we face some of the scariest fears in our lives, and it's so. Oh yeah, the front door is definitely locked for sure. I'm on the second floor, thank goodness, and yeah, so no coyotes here, just owls and hawks and parrots and okay, on birds and woodpecker and yeah. But we face some of the craziest, scariest stuff. Like when I went through my wrist, 9.5 months of therapy, just 232 hours, and it was not fun. Let's just say that, right? It was very scary, knowing, thinking that hey, things may not go well. So, but you face some of these scariest stuff, and we don't think twice. We just go through it. Why? Because our mind, our body is designed to protect us, fight or flight, right? And we just get into that mode and just boom, whatever happens, but we go through it, right? What if we could turn that thing on in this situation? When you're wanting to prospect, you want to talk to a couple people today, but you're like, you're scared, you're like shaking, you're afraid of rejection, you don't know what they're gonna say, or you just, right? What if you could turn that on and you're like, no matter what, I'm just gonna face this thing and I'm just gonna go through it. Those silent fears that we don't really have to deal with, I feel like they make the most damage. They do the most damage. It's like, all right, I'm gonna drop it with this. It's like in a relationship. I am a firm being believer that in a relationship, it's not the big fights that break up a relationship. It's actually not, because the big fights get either done or not done, or you get over it, or just boom, right? It's not the big fights. It's the little fights that get unattended, get kind of swept under the rug. Nobody's really happy with the outcome. There's no closure to them. They're like, all right, whatever, just the little fights over time. I really truly believe those are the major ones. Those are the ones that do the most damage, not the big fights. The big fights, either they break you completely or they actually help you, right? But the tiny ones, right? It's the same thing here with these tiny little fears that we don't really need to face, really. It's not something that we need to face. It's not a life or death as we see it, right? It's an internal death, if you would. So as he was sharing his story, and I'm like thinking, I didn't really have that fear of going through surgeries and going through the hospital. And in fact, I would crack jokes left and right with the doctors and nurses because, why wouldn't you? Somebody's got a knife in their hand, they're going to cut you open. You don't want them in a bad mood. Believe me, you don't want them in a bad mood. So I never had that fear. So when he was talking about his story, I'm like, I never had that fear. And all my surgery have been very serious operations. So I really didn't have that. But there are things that, I do fear, and I don't have to face them like the way I have had to face my medical challenges, I guess, right? And it's like those are the ones that kind of get swept away. And I felt like today I was like, those are the ones that do the most damage, piling on top of each other, one after another. It's like this little tiny fear, this little, I'm afraid of rejection, I'm afraid of following up, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid, right? It just little by little, it adds up, and you're like, by the time you're done, you're like, I don't want to do anything. I'm fearful of everything. So, next time you're kind of stuck in a situation, evaluate your fear. See, is it something that no matter what you're going to have to deal with and you're going to go through automatically because it just has to happen? Or is it something that you got to dig a little deep for and kind of get through that internal and just kind of, you know, and I think most of that is internal, and most of it is what we kind of brush under the rug, and we don't really want to pay close attention to. We just kind of brush over them, you know. I speak for myself, but today was really eye opening, even though like it was something that I'm very familiar with. Isn't that interesting though? Like surgery is not something that I'm a stranger to, right? And when he was talking about surgery, it's just something just kind of triggered. So anyway, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. This time it didn't break up, so thank goodness. One takeaway. Come on, one takeaway. Drop it in the comments below. Let this feed grow. Keep us in your prayers. You know, we are going to have a hurricane come through. So we're in Orange County. Keep us in your prayers. Thank you. We appreciate you. And if you haven't seen my last skit, go see it. It's a Persian rap. It took me a minute. You know, I'll give you a little secret with these rap songs and stuff, because there's just no way I have the time to sit there for an hour and listen to a song and do it like that, because just I won't have time for that. So what I do, I'll give you a little secret for these long songs that are hard. I'm either cooking or cleaning or doing some kind of a chore or some kind of a something that I can just put the headphones on and just repeat the song over and over in my head at least a few times. So that's my secret. It's not like I sit here and like, kumbaya, my Lord, listen to this song, you know, because I have no time for that stuff. But this was a fun song. I've been wanting to do this song for a long time, but it was a little of a tongue twist. The first part, man, the guy goes like 100 miles an hour when you're repeating it. At one point, I had to catch my breath. So I think I did pretty okay. Go back, check it out. Those of you who have made a comment, I appreciate you guys. One takeaway from this live, drop it down in the comments below. Let this feed grow. If you feel this was worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love, tag a couple people, you know. And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.